Hello, welcome. Tucker game has just finished. Tottenham Hotspur 3, West Ham United 1 in the race for European football next season. Gonzo, let's get straight into it because we didn't have long to wait until it was 1-0 Tottenham. An own goal from Kurt Zouma. But how did you see the goal?
I thought Masuaku was massively to blame, actually. I thought he sometimes does this. He wants to play the game at his pace. Funny enough, must be someone I used to play five-a-side football with. It just, just sometimes think, mate, people aren't going to let you do what you want at the pace you want to do it. And I think it was Doherty wasn't going to let Masuaku play at that pace and let him have the fourth or the fifth touch or whatever it was he wanted, nick the ball off of him. There was a series of other bits and pieces that sort of led to that. But if that doesn't happen, that goal just doesn't come down. But I certainly don't blame Zouma it was a bit deflected. It was sort of his trailing leg a little bit, wasn't it? And look, maybe that could have been cut out from a wide area, but it was all about, I thought he dwelt. It was very, very lethargic at that point, which I will give a lot of people free passes tonight for being lethargic, off the back of what happened on Thursday. But he was the one person that shouldn't have been playing at that lazy sort of pace.
Yeah, it was frustrating, really, because I think Moyes gambled a little bit with the formation and playing Masuaku was a bit of a gamble as well. And after 9 minutes, it was almost like, well, you've got this one wrong, Gaffer. Weak for Masuaku. The pass to him is undercooked. It's not the best pass in the world. But as soon as Doherty gets another touch, Masuaku's got he's got a second opportunity there, Masuaku, to go and do something. Even if he has to commit the foul, just go get it back. But he does it. He's weak twice. Then Rice is weak in the challenge with Kulusevski or Harry Kane. Kane it was, sorry. He was weak in the challenge with Kane. The ball comes across. There's nothing really Kurt Zouma can do. I know it goes down as a Zouma on goal, but he's sliding into blocks on shot and Son don't touch it. So it just bounces off his trailing knee and loops into the back of the net. And it's just one of them. It's like you said, the one player that didn't feature on Thursday is at fault. And a big part of the reason we went through on Thursday was due to hard work and team spirit and whatnot. And after 9 minutes, you've got a player there just a bit like, I'm just putting half-hearted tackle. Piss off, man. Anyway, 24 minutes though, Gonzo. It was 2-0. Son this time did actually score, and Kurt Zouma again had a big hand to play in it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good ball. I mean, Kane, really good ball from Kane, obviously. But he found a pocket of space there, Son. He was unsighted. I thought there was a bit of that went on today, by the way, a bit of spatial awareness. Maybe that is fatigue. You're just being lively and knowing who's around you. And he managed to pull off to that blind side. But I thought that was an interesting one. The way the centre-backs were positioned. Now, obviously, Moyes had his reason for playing Zouma as the right-sided centre-half, and I think we all know what it was. It probably was to combat Son, but I thought it was maybe another position that you probably didn't need to do. It was another swapping round because it was asking Zouma and Dawson to play in alien positions. So I think you should have, maybe in hindsight, played Dawson in there, kept Zouma central, but I mean, he got the better of him there. He really did. He found a pocket of space in between Johnson and Zouma. And then obviously outpaced him a bit as well, which was going to be a massive feature of all players tonight, by the way. Pace, not fatigue for that one. Very fast team, and we were obviously very slow. And it was, it was, did well. It was really electric tonight, wasn't he, Son?
We were just switched off because they got their free kick and they wanted to take it quickly, and Taylor pulled it back because he was booking Craig Dawson. I know you will take it again. And it gave us, perfect opportunity to get back into position, to organise and stuff. And then they took a free kick, and Declan Rice gets caught out again. He sort of goes for the pass to Kane. He tries to intercept it, but he doesn't manage, which isn't the end of the world. But what it does do, it buys Kane a yard on Declan Rice. Had Declan turn and run after him, he might not have caught him, but he might have been able to put Kane under pressure because he goes in to get it and does it. And when you talk about the Zouma position change, I actually think it was madness to say to Craig Dawson, you're going to mark Harry Kane, who's going to drop deep. And he just couldn't do it, Dawson. I felt a bit sorry for him, to be honest with you. And we've always struggled with Harry Kane's position. Whenever we played Tottenham, we've always struggled, and a lot of teams do. He's world class at it. He's a world class finisher. He's a world class number 10. You almost get two players with Harry Kane. You get two positions of a world class player. And I thought I just thought we couldn't handle him in the first half. Every time there was one point in between the goals, Dawson was right behind him, and Kane just turned, one touch turned, and Dawson was gone, and Kane was running out of defence. Bloody hell. Moyes gambled, and after, I know it 2-0 down after 25 minutes, but you could tell it wasn't working, and I think the formation change was wrong, and I think the personnel in the formation was also wrong as well. We did get a goal back, though, Gonzo, 10 minutes later through Saeed Benrahma.
Yeah, really silly defending from, I don't know, it was really bad, which conceded a corner, terrible defending. And obviously the corner was a decent corner, which was nice to see. Dawson got up. I'm not sure he was trying to flick it to Benrahma, but he won the header, contested the header. I thought there was some funny marking there from Tottenham as well, actually, when I was looking at it, and I was looking at some of their bigger guys. So I think their best guy was in the air, the best defender. Impressive performance, actually, Romero, by the way. He seemed to be on Souček, who they'd highlighted as a danger man. But I kept on leaving it. There were smaller guys marking sort of Dawson and Zuma, and I guess we got a few tall players. So anyway, so he managed to get up and amongst it. But what an impressive finish from Benrahma. He had no time. It was a real awkward height. It wasn't, it was one of those ones too low to head, sort of too high to kick. But he managed to contort his body. And managed to get enough weight above the ball, which is what you need to stop it going high, and had to react and do it all really, really quickly. I thought it was a very impressive finish, actually, because he wouldn't have been expecting that ball coming towards him, because it wasn't, as I say, Dawson didn't intend it. He probably thought, oh my goodness, what's going on here? And then just twisted his body, created the shape he needed, and very good goal, actually.
I think they just line up with sort of half zonal, half man marking Tottenham at set pieces. West Ham do it as well. Kurt Zuma doesn't mark anyone. He'll stand on the 6-yarder along with Declan Rice and whatever. And I think that what you call the little man, I think he's just there to try and put him off. And I think Dawson does well to get his head to it. He's sort of sandwiched in between two Tottenham players, and just to win the header is impressive. And like you said, well done to Benrahma for anticipating it and gambling. Too often you'll see that header just bounce out for a goal kick, and the guy on the edge of the box has pretended to run it last. Oh, I was going to go, but didn't. Oh, I nearly got there. But a fantastic finish from him as well. And it was sort of game on a little bit. Did you make at half time? I think the only other real chance we had in the first half was sort of a self-made chance for Antonio shrugging off Eric Dyer and narrowly hitting it wide to the side of the post. But half time 2-1 Spurs. What were you thinking?
Well, I didn't think Tottenham were at their best today, and I thought we were pretty stinky, really. So I thought I didn't know what was going to happen. I thought we can obviously stay like this, or we can get better. I suspected we would get better, but I also knew there was probably room in there for Tottenham to get better. But I thought we'd come out with a little spring in our step. We did as well, because it gives the manager a half to have a look at things as well. And but I was a bit worried by the positions that Antonio was taking up. There was clearly one dominant defender there. You often talk about Chris Woods going and sort of picking on Cresswell and standing next to him. Yet time and time again, Antonio would go and stand next to Romero, who was getting the better of him, rather than thinking, we're going to go and try one of the other two. Do you know what I mean? That wasn't happening, and that was a little worry there, I've got to say, at that point. But Benrahma was in the game. I was sort of hoping we might get a few more crosses over. We clearly looked dangerous when we got corners. That was all about second half. Can we have enough shots to get enough corners to get us back in the game, as far as I was concerned?
I felt we got the first half wrong. I think, the inclusion of Masuaku, I find it hard to justify. Even on Thursday night against Sevilla, we're holding on to a place in the quarterfinals, and we still didn't trust Masuaku to bring him on to see the game out and stuff. So clearly the manager doesn't rate him. We don't see him very often. So why he decided he was the player to go for today, I don't really get it, to be honest with you. I think there's 3 or 4 different options, play Fredericks on the right and Johnson on the left if he wanted to go to 5 at the back. Then there was other options he could have done, and it cost us the first goal ultimately.
Yeah,
I thought our defensive line was strangely high against Tottenham. I think we were
Yeah.
sort of asking for problems, to be honest with you. And their high press, I thought, was very impressive. We were struggling with it. And all the defenders were at fault here. Like I said, Creswell passed to Masuaku, who was poor. Dawson did a pass to Declan Rice, which was poor. They nicked in and got it. I thought Zuma was a bit shaky at times. There was a couple of passes he did out of defence that was really poor. I thought the only defender that didn't really concede possession was Ben Johnson. At times he got put under pressure. He would turn around and give it back to somebody or give it back to the keeper if he had to. But I thought first half, I think we almost deserved to be behind, almost through our own faults as well as theirs. And I was a bit disappointed, actually, by what I've seen from us. We weren't out of it. I think we were back in it thanks to Benrahma's goal. But didn't really believe we were going to go on and get anything from the game. I just didn't really see enough inspiration from us. And we were just... I guess we were tired from Thursday, and it is going to give us an excuse and a valid reason as to why we went on to lose. But I was just hoping that the positive benefits from Thursday would far outweigh the fatigue, especially in the first half of the game. I accept that we would see fatigue creep in later on in the second half, but not for the first 45. I find it difficult to accept that the first 45 minutes can be put down to tiredness. And if that is the case, we shouldn't have made just one change. We should have made 2 or 3 other changes to the starting 11 to sort of demonstrate that fatigue was a bit of an issue. But anyway, getting on to the second half, Gonzo, we didn't really have too much chances, did we? I mean, Antonio,
we had a
beauty. The best one.
We had a beauty from Antonio too. Look, one of the first half was tight, but bearing in mind he only sort of missed it by that much. It was a chance, and that would have been 1-1 as well. The second one, I thought Cresswell. There was a reluctance to cross from Cresswell today, which I thought was a wasted opportunity of his position. He seemed to be in positions to cross a lot of the time today, yet he wanted to play triangles and 1-2s. And but anyway, at this point, they did do that. He got himself very, very deep into their box, played a wonderful ball, Cresswell did to Antonio. It's just a terrible, terrible bit of technique. Many would have made something happen. They might have forced a save or whatever, but it was bad. It was tens of meters away from where it should have been,
Yeah, I have to agree. It was a glorious chance. I mean, yes, it's mid-air. I say mid-air. It's knee height. It's not that difficult. He sees it early enough, Antonio, and the way he swings his leg at it, there's no confidence there. He sort of sticks his foot out and just lets it hit off his foot rather than anything else. And I have to admit, when Creswell got the ball, I thought, hit it. I thought Creswell should have shot. I thought he was going to, and I thought he should have done. And then when I saw Antonio's finish, I definitely thought Creswell should have taken on himself as well. But we didn't really create too much other chances. But what I will say, Gonzo, I can't believe I'm going to say this about David Moyes. I thought he made the sub too early. The Antonio one. I get the Fornals for Masuaku. Yes, that's right. I know Antonio wasn't playing that well, and he was a bit crap in the first half. But I thought when that corner incident happened, when the protesters came on the pitch, when Zuma nearly killed Son by kicking the ball off the back of his thigh, thankfully Son recovered from that. I thought he was going to die at one point. But out of everybody, Antonio was the one player that got riled up. He was the one that thought, I'm not taking this piss from that lot. No, ref, you get a grip of this. Creswell, come here. So something must have happened to Creswell. But Antonio was riled up, and he can be a bit of a loose cannon. You need him to keep his head. But, when you're playing in a derby game like this, you need a little bit of spice sometimes. I thought he had that, Antonio. I thought that got Antonio fired up. But there we go. Tottenham we've seen what Antonio can be like when he's in what we call beast mode, when he's pissed off. He can be a dangerous player. And I thought, here we go. We've now got Antonio pissed off. Let's see something. Then we took him off. And I know Yarmolenko's proved successful in the previous couple of games, but the last game he came on and played alongside Antonio. And the game before that, he came on with about 10 minutes to go. And I just felt it was a bit too early to take Antonio off. Not necessarily bring Yarmolenko on, but to take Antonio off, I just thought it was a bit early for Moyes.
Well, I thought he was knackered. I thought Antonio was knackered. I know what you're saying. The worst thing about that was, in hindsight, I understand the reasoning for bringing Yarmolenko on. I get it. You could make far more cases for bringing him on than not for recent examples. You've got recent examples of it. Unfortunately, I thought Yarmolenko looked knackered after 5 minutes of him being on, which I totally get. And I totally accept that I think what we found out when that happened was why Moyes played Yarmolenko. Now, I get there, from what I'm going to say, there will be a counter argument, which is, well, he should have played Frederiksen and swapped the things over. Because by the time Antonio and Masuaku both went off, we were as slow as I've seen us. Now, I think I have to go back to the Watford game. When we played Watford, I think I said to you, Gio, it wasn't just they had players quick enough. I think Watford had the 6 fastest players on the football pitch, and that was an issue. And there were races all over the pitch. There was a point where Kane outpaced Zuma. That's a problem. And then relatively near the end, Romero outpaced Benrahma. Oh, had a good game, by the way. It'd be one of the, I thought Benrahma played well. And it's not to individually criticise any of those players. It's just collectively they were not quick enough. So what we actually had to do then, we had no counter-attack. None. Because almost every one of their players was quicker than ours. There was another race at Regulon. Race Johnson beat him. And we're just getting beaten for pace all over the pitch at this point. So we had no outball. And possibly that might be why he played Masuaku up there. In hindsight, he probably should have brought Fredericks on to give us something, or if not, even brought the lad on, Perkins, who's quick. Because there was at that point, very rarely do I ever watch a West Ham game and think we can't actually get back into this and score. And I just didn't think we could at that point because there was nothing there. And not only that, we weren't sort of bright enough because we didn't have the energy levels to blast a movement. There were a number of times where Rice would take the ball off of the centre halves, stride 6 or 7 strides into midfield, and there was just no movement in front of him. There were no options on. And I was looking at it thinking, okay, there's only one way we're going to score here, and that is someone's going to have to shoot from 30 yards. Lloris is going to have to tip it around the corner to get us a corner. Actually, from open play, there was no way to score a goal.
In the 88th minute, they sealed the 3 points, making it 3-1. Son again. I mean, this is just ridiculously poor defending. It's a
Terrible.
long kick from Lloris, and Dawson and Zuma go for it, and Kane wins it and puts Son through and goal with, 10, 15 yards to run in on goal and control the ball and tee up Fabianski. And it's a nice finish from him, but talk about twisting the knife.
You know what? They combined again. Wonderful players, by the way. But they're going to need to have a word actually with themselves, or Moyes will have to have a word with them because whilst we praise Kane for everything, and rightly so, that's 2 of their specialities. Actually, is heading. I'm talking, obviously Dawson and Zuma to out jump. Not only that, they were about a yard off of him as well, and they could have got close, could have got tight. Maybe they both thought either one was going to get it. Even so, have a chat. Cool, do something. It's still not acceptable. There's still ways to do that. And then you got the second bit, which was, Son believed that Kane was going to get a flick on header. Cresswell or Johnson didn't. So, he just got through anyway. The fact of the matter is he would have outpaced Cresswell or Johnson anyway. But we got beaten in the air by, it was an okay ball. Basically, centre-backs got out-jumped and the full-backs got out-anticipated, if you want. So, pretty crap goal to concede, really.
I think even if the full-backs anticipate that, there's nothing they can do about it. I mean, Son's halfway between Zuma and Johnson when Kane goes to leap forward. And it's, to be fair, I actually hold Zuma more responsible than Dawson for this one because Kane is Dawson's man. I've just criticised Dawson for not handling him very well in the first half. I can't then say, well, Zuma should be going for that. It shouldn't be. When you watch it back, they're both about the same distance away from Harry Kane. I mean, you could argue it's poor marking from Dawson originally because he's got 10 yards to make up to challenge for him in the air, but Zuma shouldn't be coming over there. As soon as Zuma does that, Zuma creates the space for Son to run into. It's terrible defending, and I'm just, in a weird way, I'm glad it made it 3-1 rather than 2-1, because to lose the game with that would have been horrific, really. Anyway, it finished 3-1 Tottenham. Listen, I'm not going to try and play this game down, Gonzo. I'm not going to sit here and say, it doesn't matter, we won on Thursday. I'm sure later on tonight I'll get over the defeat pretty quickly because of Thursday and stuff. But this is a massive blow to our sort of European hopes for next season. It puts Tottenham firmly in the driving seat for top 6 football and gives them an outside chance of top 4 football, probably, if they can beat Arsenal in their game in hand, they do close that gap on them. And it's a bit of a blow for us finishing 6th, and it might get to the point where 7th, it probably always was, but 7th is now the most realistic finishing position for West Ham, which would mean us hoping that, as time of recording, Nottingham Forest, Liverpool are 0-0 in the FA Cup. So we need Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea go on and win the FA Cup, and we would get Europa Conference League, which is still European football. I'm not going to poo-poo that, but it's not quite as prestigious as the Europa League, is it? And today's a big setback in our sort of European race, if you like. And there's still plenty of games to go in the Premier League, but today was a huge game, and I just feel like we got it wrong from start to finish. I think our starting 11 was wrong. Our formation was wrong. If fatigue was an issue, like you always say, me and you aren't privy to this data and regards to fitness. Moyes would have seen him on the training ground. He's obviously decided they're fit enough. Well, what we've seen would suggest they weren't fit enough. But if he thought they're touch and go, he probably should have rotated a bit more. And when I say a bit more, I only need 2 or 3 more players. When I say I thought he made the Antonio sub too early, by the way, he made the Vlasic one too late. There was a big gap on taking off Antonio and Masuaku and bringing Vlasic on. And by the time Vlasic come on, everybody was dead. Everyone was on their gone. As soon as we were struggling for a while. We were just tired. We should have tried to bring somebody else on, and to some extent, I might have left Masuaku on because at least he would have seen the 90 minutes out in terms of fitness, whereas the rest of them probably wouldn't have done. And I just feel like we've got it wrong, Gonzo. I feel like we've got it wrong today. Tottenham are a good team. They are a bloody good team. That front three will cause chaos in the Premier League for the rest of the season and next season. If Tottenham can keep them three together, they've got a trio that could be up there with some of the best partnerships we've ever seen in the Premier League. But today I just felt defensively we were shocking. I'm not seeing us play that bad defensively for a while.
That's bad. Yeah, it was bad. It was. There's no doubt about it at all. It was. You certainly got the impression that you hoped it wasn't going to take it out of us on Thursday. Clearly it did. There was no life left in the team. There really wasn't. But it is very disappointing because it's Tottenham. You know what? We'll have to make sure we get them next time. We will. They are. I didn't feel Tottenham were at their best today. I really don't. I wasn't the same Tottenham that I saw were scintillating against Man City. That being said, I think we were pretty close to our worst today as well, and it wouldn't have taken much more of an improvement from us to have nicked a draw, and we would have nicked it because we wouldn't have necessarily deserved it. But I do think he got an awful lot wrong today. Actually, it's not the end of the world. It's far from season over, but that race for fourth has gone now. Clearly, if we can rest well and get some players back, get Bowen back. I mean, he was a massive loss today. By the way, I don't think he's rapid. Don't get me, he's not one of the, but he has enough pace that he possibly could have got in behind them and caused them problems. You haven't got to be necessarily just faster than your marker, but just faster than someone. He probably would have been faster than Davis or Dyer or somebody like that, and got himself into a position centrally to create a race. We weren't able to create any one-on-ones and really win them today in terms of a foot race, which was so yeah. That to miss Bowen was we've managed it for 2 or 3 games without him. It was a game too far without Bowen today, I think.
Individual performers, take your pick.
I thought that was Zuma's worst game for us. We have rightly praised him in terms of how well he's played. We've actually said that when it's happened, we didn't think the booing impacted him. Maybe because they just got such a big stadium with so many fans. Maybe it did today. It was very audible. He seemed to be a little bit nervous, so I don't know if that played its part at all. Souček wasn't involved today, and I don't know if that was the formation or what. There was one point where Antonio actually played over a really nice ball. Couldn't quite get to it, but he was in a good position. That being said, I was very frustrated the amount of times I would see Cresswell move into that and think, okay, just cross it first time now. Souček was in the box. If you're going to do that, we weren't going to be better than them in many areas, but Souček can out jump a lot of their guys. But the ball just didn't come. The amount of times I saw him stood in there. I thought, well, that's a bit wasteful, actually. We seem to want to play this, whatever it was. Early on, it was a sort of Lanzini, Masuaku, Cresswell that will try and go in the second half. All right, the personnel changed slightly, but it carried on again. So, but his corner was excellent, and he did play probably the best ball of the game with the pass to Antonio, which he hit over. There was no lung bursting run from Declan today, and I thought that was quite telling. We will often see when a game gets away from us, or it looks like it's getting a bit tight, Declan will run down one of the wings, or Declan will run centrally, and he'll actually skip past 2 or 3 players. That didn't happen today. That being said, I thought their shape was rock solid. There was no space there at all, and I just didn't feel that either sets of wing backs, whoever it was able to really supplement our attack, and we really needed some extra players there. When you're missing an attacking player like Bowen, who's going to step up and be that extra attacking player, it certainly didn't come from the wide areas today, which I felt was disappointing. When you put Souček in the box, be effective from wide areas, we didn't do that, and that was only really going to be the one tactic that was going to work for us today.
I think this is a problem when you play Ben Johnson right wing back. He doesn't offer much going forward. We know that. I say we know that. I believe that he's not a wing back. He's a full back at best. And I think when you push him up into that wing back role, you're asking a lot of him, and he's not going to deliver. I thought the battle between him and Reguilón was fantastic today. I thought they both won some battles, lost some battles. I thought they both gave 100%. I thought it was a really, really good tussle between the two of them. And I thought Johnson more than held his own. And Reguilón's a bloody good left wing back.
Yep,
that's his best position. I thought Johnson had a really good game defensively. Offensively, I expected nothing from him, really. But he didn't do badly. There was no opportunity for him to cross, and he didn't do very good. I thought Johnson had another good game. And he was under pressure there, I guess, with Reguilón. They came down that left side and a lot. And I felt like he held his own and possibly said to Tottenham, you're going to have to go down the other side of the pitch if you want success, because you ain't getting any down here. And then he's probably the only defender out of the 5 that wasn't at fault for any of the goals. He's the only one I felt did well. I think Act 3 of Zuma, Dawson, and Cresswell, I thought was crap. I thought as a partnership, as a trio, I thought they were poor. Individually, I thought they were all poor as well. Like you said, it has to be Zuma's worst game. He's at fault for 2 goals and scored an own goal, which is going on. Not his fault or anything, but the other 2, he's at fault for. I thought Souček was okay. Actually, I don't think he was any worse than Declan Rice. Actually, I thought it was quite a poor game from Declan today. I think at times he looks good, but I thought it was almost easy for him to look good today. At times he was almost picking off Cresswell and giving it to Dawson and stuff like that. I didn't really see much that was. He didn't grab the game by the scruff of the neck. The Tottenham front 3 were, give me the ball, I'm going to make something happen. None of our players, well, actually, one of our players did do that, but it wasn't Declan. I thought that was a poor game for Declan standards. I thought Souček was all right. I was quite okay with his performance. I thought Lanzini was the quietest of the trio. I thought he struggled to get involved in the game, but I don't think the battle was won or lost in midfield today for either team. It was our poor defending and their good attack that was a difference between the two teams. Your man of match, please.
Benrahma. He was the only one with any sizzle today, really. So, I thought he was. It wasn't just that. There were 2 or 3 other instances as well. I thought he was fouled, by the way. I thought that might have made it interesting. For a free kick. I was pleased Moyes left him on the pitch. It was the right decision as well. He got that one right. But no. I don't think there is anyone else that you could really even remotely contested it with him. Actually, I do think it was Benrahma was the man of the match.
I thought he was fantastic. Not even his goal. I think the first half he sized up. I think it was Ben Davies. It might have been Dyer. I think it was Ben Davies. He sized him up on the right wing and beat him and put in a bloody fantastic cross into the box. But Antonio was stood at the back post and didn't move. In the second half, he looked like the one player that was going to create something for us. Even at the end there when we had that corner late on and it went over everyone, he gets it and he's got one touch, he just clips it back in. But he finds Cresswell, he does his job. I thought Benrahma was brilliant. I think he suffered when we made our 2 subs. It almost seemed like he disappeared right over to the right-hand side of the pitch. And while his partnership with Antonio perhaps isn't the greatest of that, his partnership with Yarmolenko is almost non-existent. I don't think I've seen them pass to each other once or whatever. There was a couple of times Yarmolenko got the ball, Benrahma was almost jumping up and down on the touchline, waving his arms around. But because Yarmolenko's left-footed, he would look up and face the 2/3 of the pitch, so it's on his favourite foot, and Benrahma stood behind him. So I think Benrahma suffered a lot. The two subs, and obviously Fanals came on, took the left side. But I thought he was really, really good, Benrahma. Actually, he's in a really good bit of form, and obviously not called up to the Algeria squad. It's probably a bit of a benefit for us, actually. And when we come back after the international break, he's definitely in the starting 11, one of the first names on the team sheet at the minute, one that's most likely to do something. And it's good from a 40-1 bet, Gonzo. That's his 6th Premier League goal of the season for Benrahma. So 4 more to go for 200 quid. Come on,
there
Saeed.
Go on, son. Go on.
Anyway, just quickly, anything you'd like to add before we disappear?
No, look, it's disappointing. It is disappointing. But it's we got to review the match as it was. We want to take the highs. We were more than happy to accept the highs on Thursday. It's a bit low today, a bit crappy. But it doesn't require a massive inquest. We've lost a game. It's still a good season. There's still lots and lots to play for. There'll be one club happier tonight. Hopefully, we're happier when it in a couple of weeks after the international break has stopped.
Yeah, blow today. Not a season-defining loss. If come the end of the season we miss out on European football, there'll be other games you can look at and put your finger on. For example, Brentford at home, and say, well, that's probably the game that's cost us really. Losing away to Tottenham is not something that's gonna. No team, unless you're Man City or Liverpool, no team should be basing their season on picking up points away to the likes of Spurs. A blow, but we can chalk this one off to sort of Moyes probably got it wrong with the starting 11, and then later on in the game, fatigue kicked in, and we were just dead on our feet out there. But would you change it in regards for giving up Thursday? Absolutely not. But we go again. It's we've taken. It's definitely a step back in our sort of race for European football next season, and well, we go again after the international break, I guess, Gonzo.
Yeah, look forward to it, mate. Look forward to it. The players need a rest, GF. They need a rest.
Well, so check and get one. But anyway, if you enjoyed the review, drop a like on and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Myself and Gonzo. Catch you in a bit.